Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Talking to the Doll Benfica podcast, episode number 193. A happy one, if I may add. We were kind of looking forward to this episode and hoping that there was a happy one, and it sure is a happy one. So happy that Timo is here. What's going on, Timo?
What's going on, Alfredo? Thanks for inviting me on again.
And Negative George. You guys, you guys are like a tandem, like Lindelof and Jardel on the pod.
What a team! What a team!
Two tanks.
It's today. Today, I'm gonna go by positive George. You can call me that today.
The positive George is here, and Team with the Beard is here. And my name is Alfredo. And we were hoping that Cristiano could join us, but it looks like he's a little bit tied up at work. But he might pop in. You never know. But anyway, on tonight's agenda, we will look back at the derby, and quite a derby it was. And we'll look ahead to tomorrow's game versus Zenit, and also this weekend's game, actually Monday's game, against Tondela. So without further ado, let's set up the derby, and I'll give you the lineup real quick. Ederson, Almeida, Lindelof, Jardel, and Eliseu across the back. Samaris and Renato in the middle. Pizza and Gaitan on the wings. Jonas behind Mitroglou. And we learned maybe about a couple hours before the kickoff that Julio Cesar was not going to play. Apparently he picked up an injury in training the day before on Friday. And I guess he was a day-to-day type of deal, and he happened to be left behind. I think a Brazilian outlet reported it first, and then some Portuguese outlets picked up on it and ran with it. And as it turns out, it ended up being true. So Julio Cesar is out. As far as the time that he's going to be out for, I'm thinking, and from what I've been hearing, perhaps 5 to 6 weeks. Timo, 5 to 6 weeks. Do you know the nature of the injury? I heard it was something to his ankle.
I actually don't, and you're right. It was a Brazilian media outlet on Saturday morning, probably about 8:30 in the morning. I turned on the Twitter, start looking around, start seeing if there's anything posted yet, and that's the first thing I saw. And I'm like, oh, this has to be some type of mind games, rubbish, just to try and get, people buzzing and talking. Went to a friend's restaurant to watch the game. We had, both Benfica and Sportingistas there, and one of the Sportingistas turned around and goes, "Hey, yeah, it's true. No, Julio Cesar." I'm like, "Oh man!" So it was the truth. I heard 4 to 6 weeks. Not gonna lie, I was nervous not having him, but Ederson was amazing. He on the 2 shots that he had to face, he got them both.
He did well. He did.
George,
what were your feelings with no Julio Cesar?
Well, first, God bless the internet, because the rumors that were going out on Saturday were incredible. Apparently, I read in some places it was a different Julio Cesar who was actually in Brazil, and they mistaken him for the Benfica one, and then he's in and he's out, and it's mind games. Well, when I found out that it was official, I was concerned. I can't say I wasn't concerned. But now what I'm concerned with is the 4 to 6 prognostication, which I think for Benfica medical staff means 4 to 6 months.
Come on, man.
Salvio still wearing a cast on his arm, or broken arm from like 2 years ago. Luizão, who knows what the heck's going on there. Lisandro pulls one thing and then he rips another 2 weeks later. Fesa, I don't know what he has. It should be 1 week, he's out for 1 month. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I like Julio Cesar, of course, but I wouldn't mind if the All Black replacement of Artur, and hopefully we got a good goalie, good tandem for the next rest of the season, and then hopefully a little further on.
Yeah, go ahead, Timo.
I'm reading here that it's a thigh injury.
Okay. Yeah,
that's really all it says. Wasn't the other Julio Cesar ours as well? Didn't we have another kid?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Did, yeah.
He was a goalie too.
That was years ago. Yeah.
He was at the time
he played at
United,
Liverpool. We got smoked at Liverpool once with him in net.
Yeah, but I did see him post-match walking around the mixed area, from the pictures that for the images that one of the TV channels were showing, and he was looking, he was walking around okay. And I thought, well, that can't be an ankle injury because when you have an ankle injury, you don't put weight on the ankle first of all, and then a limp is noticeable. So I thought it was weird to be an ankle injury, but I appreciate you confirming that there was a thigh injury. So we'll just have to see. But Benfica has had plenty of shots at signing goalkeepers, but apparently they trust Ederson, and Ederson also, as I mentioned on Twitter before the game, just this past week had been called to the Brazilian Olympic team. He made the Brazilian Olympic team. So obviously, I mean, I know that Brazil is not known for their goalkeepers historically until recently, but I mean, if the guy is the keeper for the Olympic team, out of all the young players that are in Brazil, I mean, that's got to say something. And to be quite honest, I thought he was pretty good, pretty damn good for this game. He didn't have to use his feet a lot on a short game, so that was good. That always scares me. But I think he even got a touch on that Brian Ruiz miss with the whole goal open. I don't know. Did you guys see that? Was it? I think he might have gotten a piece of the ball.
Yeah, there were a couple of media outlets that were saying that as well. I watched the replay quite a few times because, obviously all the Sportingistas there at the restaurant like, oh, no, I can't believe you just missed that. I'm like, no, look at it again. I think Ederson got a fingertip to it, and it actually looked like as the ball was coming across, he got just enough on it to kind of elevate the ball off the ground, and, which is why Ruiz missed it. Either that or Ruiz just really sucks, which I don't think he does.
Yeah, the ball does seem to take a weird hop. It does lift more, rises more than you'd expect. And I wondered right off the bat if it did touch Ederson's finger, but on the replays that I saw, I wasn't able to check. But other than that, he came out well, and he caught the crosses that he needed, and he made the fingertip save on the chip when he needed. And I'm going to say that both on the crossbar shot and on the João Mario takes a shot that's wide, I want to believe that if they were on the net, he would have had those.
Yeah, that the crossbar is a little difficult because he was there, but the timing of it, I think it goes a little bit lower. I think he probably couldn't have gotten to the speed of that ball because it was hit pretty squarely.
Yeah, it was a good shot.
Yeah. So let's set up the game though. The game real easy though. At the start of the game, and I thought Benfica's posture was very good. Benfica showed themselves very calm, as opposed to Sporting, who seemed very nervous. I noticed that Sporting was very nervous. They were missing a lot of short passes. They were kicking the ball out when trying to pass to other players. The ball was going out of bounds. And I really thought this first 15, 20, 25 minutes really played in our favor. Of course, we got the goal in the 20th minute with a good heads-up player from Mitroglou. So I thought that we did very good, and I think Rui Vitória prepared the team very well mentally to go into this game and to be very sure of what their talent and what their work, what they've done throughout the season and up until this point. And I thought that we had a very good posture those first 20, 25 minutes. I thought that Sporting finished the half a little bit on the higher up than us. Of course, we already had one goal, and we were trying to defend things. We were also trying not to suffer a goal before the half, which is always something that can break down a team's morale. So I understand us maybe backing up a little bit on the field and just defending and just making sure you're not giving up anything to Sporting and you're not making any mistakes. I don't know. What did you guys think of the first half, Timo?
I think the same pretty much as you just stated. Benfica came in and they looked ready to dominate the game and not just sit back and let Sporting take over. Which in the years past, with JJ, I felt like he kind of did exactly what Sporting did to start off the game. Just kind of get a feel of see what Benfica was going to do and trying to figure out, what type of tactics that Rui Vitória was looking at implementing into the game. As soon as Benfica started to dominate, Sporting really did look nervous. They sloppy. I mean, like you said, there were numerous passes that just missed the mark, or there were some that they were trying to go cross fields too much, and trying to, I don't know, if maybe open the game and lead a player up the flank, but there was nobody ever there for it. They really just did not look comfortable. Maybe the first 30 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't think the nervousness was just with the players. I'm not going to say that I've watched all of Sporting's games, but I've watched some, and I've listened to some of them on the radio. And the impression that I got was that the team was confident, and the fans were really, really confident and really, really behind the team. And I was expecting a huge show of support within. I know they showed the clips outside the stadium with them waiting for the bus, but that's all fine and good. But I was expecting a big reaction from the crowd within the stadium. And when Benfica came out, really composed, really calm, the fans seemed to be nervous. I found the fans were nervous, the players were nervous. I almost wanted to say that they felt against us the way Benfica often feels when they play at Porto, where or at home against Porto, where you kind of come in losing by half a goal. We're starting to lose that a little bit against Porto, I find, although we lost both of these games. But I think that when they didn't come out on top of us right away they got a little bit nervous, and it spread from the fans to the players and back and forth, and then we just grew confident. We got the goal, and then, like you said, then we kind of waited a little bit further back to see what would happen.
Yeah, I think it was easy to see that Sporting team was nervous, and like I said, we took advantage of that. But it was very easy to see, and I think that if you're a Sporting fan and you're sitting at the stadium, you're noticing that too. The sloppy play, the missed passes, Benfica kind of not being the nervous team that we usually are when we play away. This was a game that we needed to win. No, this is actually a game that we could have gotten away with the tie, but it worked out well for us.
And that's another thing in regards to the nervousness. Although Jorge Jesus, whether it's warranted or not, his teams have the reputation of faltering near the ends of the season. They dropped points last week, and I think the fans are kind of hesitant and thinking, are we heading down the same path? And for that reason, I thought the pressure was all on Sporting, even though they weren't first. I think they had to win, because if they didn't, with the tough matchups they have going down the stretch, I really don't see how they can overcome and resist and win the rest of the games. So I think the traditional Jorge Jesus team's semi-mini collapse near the end, the tough schedule down the stretch, everything came to a head, and we pulled out a good victory. They weren't able to do what they normally did do on the field.
Yeah. Yeah, so we go into the half with Sporting on top of us. We're up by 1 goal. And Timo, what do you think the message from Vitória was to the players after after the first half?
I would imagine he probably told Renato Sanches to kind of relax a little bit. To me, towards the end of the first half, Benfica started to look sloppy. There were a few passes that we were just trying to force into small spaces whenever we did have the ball, which obviously wasn't as much as the first 20, 25, 30 minutes. I would imagine he goes in and just says, "Hey, look, let's relax. Let's we have the game. It's under our control. As long as we don't make any mistake, we're good. We got this." I don't really think he told them to continue to press for a goal. I just think he said, "We'll take our chances. Let's be smart about how we go forward, or when we do."
Yeah, I thought we were having a lot of problems keeping the ball once Sporting turned it over, both at the end of the half and in the beginning of the half. And as it developed, you kind of felt Sporting getting a little bit more restless with what they were doing, and the fact that aside from a couple plays, Sporting didn't really come close to our goal. Aside from a couple plays, I think I can remember maybe 2-3 saves by Ederson. There was one on the Ruiz miss. After the Ruiz miss, Ruiz trying to chip Ederson, and he got a piece of it, put it over the bar or put it over the corner. But other than that, I didn't really see Sporting really dominated so much offensively or suffocating us in defense so much to the point that that I was afraid for it. I mean, I wanted the time to run out quick because this the fourth match and we finally are winning and it looks like we're going to be able to close this out. But I don't know. I felt a little bit uneasy about the second half. What'd you think, George?
Well, like you said, they had a ton of possession, and did Benfica drop back too far, or did Sporting's pressure force us back? Whatever it was, we sat too far back, and we gave Sporting basically the ball. We couldn't come out with it. We couldn't break out. But like you said, they didn't really create the chances, and for that, I got to give credit to the defensive line, especially Lindelof. Who intercepted a lot of potentially dangerous crosses, and Jardel as well. They had a lot of the Sporting players had room on the wings, but the crosses never really got to Slimani or anybody in the box. If they were too close to Ederson, he was able to stop them, and the defense was able to clear out the crosses. So I give the defense big credit for this win. But yeah, we gave them the possession. We sat back too far. It reminded me a little of the Braga game, but there we had a 2-goal lead where again we sat back, and they had all the possession, and we defended well enough to keep the clean sheet and get the victory.
Yeah. So the second half was far from being pretty. As a matter of fact, I thought that the second half was ugly. I thought initially I thought the approach to the second half was one of a little team. But when you take into consideration that you haven't beaten Sporting in the past 3 outings, and this is a game where you must win, and all of a sudden you see yourself ahead in the score line, I think this is perhaps the right approach to have in this game. Timo?
I'm going to agree with you in a sense that it did look like a small team. Obviously, JJ said that crap too. But who's to say that we didn't allow them to do it? Who's to say that Rui Vitória didn't decide, hey, you know what, guys? Let's sit back. Let's give them the ball. They're making mistakes. They're just us. They're being very sloppy with their passes. If they get any opportunities to come up, let's see what happens. Let's just play smart defensively. Let's make sure no balls are coming in uncontested, which I'll agree with George. Lindelof, Jardel. I mean, Eliseu these past maybe 3 games, he's been phenomenal. Even on Almeida, in the past couple of games defensively, whatever, didn't really make any errors defensive wise. We didn't play the second half to score, like I said, but I don't necessarily agree that we just didn't allow Sporting. I think we allowed Sporting to go for it. That's kind of how I saw it. I mean, every time we had the ball, or every time we had possession, we didn't try to force our way up, ever. Yeah.
I noticed we were comfortable. Yeah, I noticed several times throughout the game where Almeida would make a bit of a move up and he'd pass it to Jean or to someone who would then do a 1-2 expecting Almeida to race down the wing, and oftentimes he would hold up. And I was like, okay, clearly, well, he's not the most skilled offensive player to begin with, but I was like, his main job today is to hang back and defend. And I thought they didn't want to get caught. And then when we were able to get the goal early, it just reinforced that idea. They hung back, and then they worked super hard. They didn't stop, and I think that's a sign of that the team is united. They're with the coach, and they're in it to win it.
Yeah, that's right. And Timo, you brought up JJ criticizing the team, but this is the same JJ that used to go to Porto and play with three defensive midfielders or 2 defensive
every
midfielders.
Time.
Last year at Sporting, albeit we had a 6 or 8 point advantage, he had played a very defensive game also. But you play to what the game is needed you to play, and I think that Benfica and Rui Vitória especially felt that's what was needed. I think that if we hadn't scored in the 20th minute, we might have been a little bit more. We might have pushed a little bit more forward, but I don't think would have been guns blazing going forward because Ty could have very well have served us too.
Yeah, I'll. That's definitely the case there. If it had been tied, I think we would have just been pushing to secure the tie. In that sense, I really didn't think Benfica looked like they were even interested in trying to get another goal. I mean, I'm watching the game as we're speaking, and there's a few times where you just see, the players pretty much just, hitting the ball into the corners of the field, and then, coming back and just trying to secure possession and not allow Sporting to do anything with it. Never really looked like we made much of an attempt to get into the box, the opposition's box, in the second half. Just they didn't seem interested in it. They were happy with where it was, and hey, let's just keep playing defense and secure it where we are.
Yeah, if you remember the 3-0 home loss, the first goal is when there's like a through ball, but if you get pushed up, there's a through ball. Julio Cesar comes out, doesn't get there before the forward, and then they score. And the second one, Slimani's kind of open at the left open at the top of the box, and he scores with the head. It seemed like they thought, okay, they scored on us at the luge when we gave them too much space, and we pushed up. We're not going to give them that space. Let's see if they can beat us with more individual technical skill, as opposed to us giving them space where they can run in and head it and shoot it. And Sporting wasn't able to do that this time.
Yeah, I thought that as I've said, we set up very good defensively. I thought that we hunkered down, we closed off spaces, and like you guys said, the center back pairing of Jardel and Lindelof, clearing balls with the head. I thought Eliseu did very good when faced with both João Mario and Ruiz. And I thought that overall, I think Samaris did well defensively. Of course, we always complain about the way he plays going forward or in the transitions, but defensively, he's a guy that plays with a lot of heart, that covers a lot of ground. Same thing for Renato. Renato covers a lot of ground. At one point, he wanted to bring the ball forward, but the team really seemed like, "Hey, peraí, pa. Let's hold that up. We're good where we are." And overall, I know I always like to see Benfica play at the best of their abilities, going at teams. But it is what it is. The reality is that, like I've said, we've lost 3 games to Sporting, and this was just another game. We're playing at their house. They're the leaders in the championship, and it was all there. We just needed to be really careful to make sure that we didn't lose another game by a silly mistake or a lapse of focus. So, to me, that's fine. I'm quite fine with the way we played and the way we won, and it's a good thing that we won because we were able to leapfrog Sporting.
Now, sorry, it would have been easier, obviously, to defend and hold the lead if we had the ball, because then they don't have it, they can't score. But that wasn't the tactic he used, and that takes away a little bit of the pressure from the players to not make a big mistake. Because if you control the ball, one bad pass, and then you're caught on the counter, I think that Rui Vitória, especially with the changes in the defense, he didn't want to put that extra pressure on the players of Ederson maybe having to cover a through ball like Julio Cesar had the previous week where he came out and slide tackled his foot. Let's take away those opportunities. Let's give them the ball, retreat, hunker down, as you said, and get on with it.
Yeah, it was a good win. One last thing, Renato's tackle, Timo, red or no?
It was from behind. It looked a little high to me. I would have. If I was reffing, I think that'd be a instant red.
That's a red for me too.
Yeah.
George.
It's a clear red. There's no discussion. It's a red card. The only thing I can think of that would have led the referee not to do it is that when Renato slides in, his leg is bent and cocked and ready to go through, and then he never does. Yeah. He hits him with his cleats. He hits his knee. No doubt, red card. But by not going through, exactly. By not following through with his leg, the referee may have thought, oh, he he thought twice about it. He decided not to go through. It's the wrong decision because he clearly hits him anyways and it was still too dangerous. But that's the only reason I could see for him not to give the red card.
Yeah. And in
It's
all
the horrible tackle.
Yeah. In all fairness, that was probably the only lapse that Suarez Diaz had in the game. I thought he played. He called a very good game. Obviously, these games are very hard to call. Usually, when you have teams like this and games of this intensity, but I thought overall, I think he got the majority of the calls right, with the exception of this one, which was perhaps the one that comes to mind the most, or that people will be seeing highlights for days on ends now, looking for Renato Sanchez to be suspended because of that. But but he had a good game overall. So a good win. I don't know if you guys wanted to add anything else to the topic before we move on to the next one.
I'll say I want to say one thing about the Jorge Jesus criticisms of our team, of the way we played. I don't get too upset with what he says because he said a lot of silly things when he was coaching Benfica, and I never got upset over that. It goes with the territory. You know what to expect from him. But I gotta say, I enjoy having a coach who doesn't say silly things anymore. He seems really confident in his abilities. Doesn't get into that gutter game of insults and stuff. So my hat's off to Rui Vitória, who's been a gentleman throughout. And with Jorge Jesus, it's what he does. It's his mind games, and for me, it's what I expected.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Timo?
Nah, you know what? I still say he's talking about JJ. I still think he's the best coach there is right now in Portugal. There's no denying it. What he's done with Sporting. What he did with Benfica. But I do like having a coach who's more of a gentleman, and lets his game do the talking.
Yeah.
Rather than
Actually,
throwing these.
So if I could say one more
little
thing
comments here
about what Timo just said. With the derby having been played this past week, I was watching some highlights on YouTube and some of the Benfica Sporting games the last few years. And yes, Jorge Jesus is a good coach. He's a great coach. Won 3 titles out of 6. But I'm watching some of these highlights, and I'm watching the players that Benfica has lined up on their roster.
Way better.
The Garais, the Matiches, the 3 out of 6. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough with those lineups. The Porto year where they won everything and they had Hulk and James and Falcao at their peak and they won the Europa League. That would have been a tough one to win. But the other ones, with the lineups we had compared to the others, we should have done a lot better.
Yeah, even the team that was set up to that they extended themselves to keep a very good team. The year that Benfica was host of the Champions League, even that year, I would say they could have won the championship that year, and they didn't, right?
Yeah, could have.
So, but I think out of those 6 years, perhaps that, like you said, George, the year that Villas-Boas absolutely cleaned everything that there was to clean in Portugal, well, almost everything. But I mean, I think they went a bunch of games without losing a game. That was very hard. And then there was the other 2 meltdowns. The other 2 years that meltdowns. Yeah. The kneeling at the Dragão, right?
Yeah. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah. So anyway, a good win for us. We leapfrog. We have our destiny in our hands. We always had the destiny in our hands, especially when Sporting tied against Guimarães. So we needed to beat Sporting, but there's still quite a few games to go. There's 9 games left to go. Of course, as we've mentioned, Sporting has the much harder schedule than Benfica when it comes to the games left behind. And as I have said, they got to go to the Dragão, and they finish off the championship at Braga. And Braga, we all know that Braga has been having a very good year, and perhaps a year right at their standards. They're a very good team, perhaps the 4th best team. Well, no, not perhaps. I'm going to say that they're the 4th best team in Portugal, I got to say, from Braga. They're very well coached. So it's not going to be an easy task for Sporting. Of course, Benfica has Braga at home, and they have Guimarães at home. Those, to me, are the hardest games that Benfica has to play, and they also travel to Rio Ave, which Rio Ave has been doing well. those to me are the three very high difficulty games for Benfica. But Sporting, they have Estoril this weekend, and with all this pressure of not having they don't have a margin for error anymore. Sporting doesn't, so it's going to be very difficult. And I want to see what happens this weekend with Sporting and Estoril, especially with Adrian not being able to play and so on and so forth. But anyway, let's move on to this tomorrow's game actually against Zenit. Benfica traveled to Zenit. I think yesterday they traveled. No Andre Almeida, no Jardel. A lot of people are asking us what's our opinion as far as what the center backs pairing would be. Rui Vitória did call up a B team player, a junior player. I forget his name.
Dias. Something Dias. I don't know his first name.
And to me, the center pairing, there's not much that you could select. To me, it's a no-brainer. Samaris drops into the center back position, and Fesa plays at defensive midfield. I think the reason why you do that is because Zenit has a very fast team, and I think that Samaris, with the speed that he has and with the experience that he has, is perhaps the best fit for that back line. What do you think, Timo?
I'm in agreement. It's exactly what I've been saying. I'd like to see Samaris back there. This way we could see Fesa in the middle. I think the three of them, being Lindelof, Samaris, and Fesa, would be plenty to counteract, anything that Zenit's going to bring at you. Which, they're still in, I would assume, their winter form. I guess, they really haven't had any games other than us. Is that correct?
I think the Russian league just started again.
Yeah, they just played one game, if I'm not mistaken. They just played one game.
I don't think the second leg was far enough. So I don't think the second game was far enough away from the first one for Hulk to lose that belly he had during the first leg.
Yeah, he looked pretty big.
Yeah.
But yes, I do agree with that center back pairing. I think that'll be our best bet.
Yeah.
I think you have to do that. You have to put Samaris back, and assuming Fesa is healthy. I know he played on the weekend. Is he healthy enough to play 15 minutes, or is he healthy enough to play 90 minutes? If he's healthy, you do that. The only way I wonder if Rui Vitória would have the courage to. Now, did the guy who get called up ever play with Lindelof on the B team together? If they, and I don't know,
I'm not sure.
I'm guessing. If they ever did, if they were ever a pairing, I would say give it a shot.
No,
Nobody has to lose. You have no pressure. But if he has no pressure because of the injuries and the suspensions, but it's you don't get experience until you play.
All right. Well, before we came on here, I was telling you guys that I could actually care less whether Benfica wins tomorrow or not, or they lose and they go out, because I think that for me, beating Sporting and the fact that now the opportunity has presented to us that we could win the championship, especially after the rocky start of the season that we've had. Everybody was calling for Vitória's head. Winning this game, putting ourselves in a very good position to win a title. If we have to concentrate on just winning that title, I'll take it. I could care less whether we get beat by Zenit 3-4-0, 5-0. I don't care. Of course, obviously, as a Benfiquista, you always want to see your team win. But if it means that you're going to jeopardize your title, even though you're playing a very easy game next on Monday, I don't know, man. I don't know. What do you guys think?
His name is Ruben Dias, by the way.
Ruben Dias. Okay.
Yeah. I would. Cristiano joining on, huh?
Is he?
Yeah. Do I just patch him in? What do I do?
I don't know if you could patch him in because I'm the one that's running it. Let me add him again. Let me see if I could add him. But anyway, you guys go.
So I was going to say I agree with you in that. Obviously, I want them to win, but if they don't, it won't really bother me. And that's one of the reasons why I would say let's put the young B teamers in there. Who knows? Maybe they'll give us a surprise and shut them down. And worst case scenario, we get eliminated, which potentially would happen with the revamped defense, anyways. And yeah, the focus It has to be on the league. This would be great to go through. Rest Face until he's 100% for sure. Keep the roster as it is. Put in the young kid in the B team, and who knows? Maybe we've just found our next B team central defender for the next 10 years.
Let's not get carried away, Josh. Timo, what do you think, man?
It's positive George today, baby. It's positive George.
What do you think, Timo? Timo's muted. I don't know. I think that's too much inexperience, and I think that oh, there it is. Look, it's Cristiano. What's going on, Cristiano? Foda-se.
Senhoras e senhores,
Custou, mas foi, man.
cuidado com a língua para estar a canalha a escutar isto, pá.
Agora foi seu time.
Agora estou lixado. Suplente também entrou a vedeta, não faz mal. Como é que é? Tudo bem?
Yeah, too bad.
Better late than never.
Yeah, we were just talking. We started talking about no, Timo's calling me. I can't do this. We just started talking about Zenit, but Cristiano, you want to offer some thoughts on the Benfica Sporting game?
Oh man, I'm gonna try not to
Back on.
be too negative. Obviously, as you guys know, I'm always negative. But that being said, listen, man. To me, it was about one thing and one thing only, which was getting the 3 points, and obviously we did that. So I'm not gonna sit here and harp on Rui Vitoria for the way that he got him, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I wanted these 3 points in the worst way. So I really don't care if it was ugly. I don't want to hear about it if it was ugly. Just a couple weeks prior, we pretty much created as many scoring opportunities as I can recall in the last 20 big games, clásicos, derbies, whatever you want to call it, and we found a way to lose against Football Club do Porto. So I guess sometimes the bricks are going to go in your way, and they went our way this time. And to me, again, I'll emphasize once more, as long as we got the 3 points, that's all I cared about. Was not too confident going into the game, but we got the 3 points. So not gonna sit here and be too negative towards the man.
I think that's the bottom line, Cristiano. I think that's the bottom line. Cristiano, while we're on a Zenit, I'll catch you up. There's doubts on who's going to be playing next to Lindelof tomorrow at Zenit. Who would be the choice for you?
Tough, man. It's real tough. Obviously, you're gonna have to go with one of the two guys. With the Samaris of Feja, probably. But that's most likely going to be the replacement. But you know me, I like to think outside the box. What about starting Smithu on the outside? Is Andre Almeida suspended?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess that goes out the window. I was gonna say play Almeida in the middle. I mean, right now you're either gonna have to go with the young kid that they call up. They call up a youngster, another one from the B team.
Yeah.
Ruben
Yep.
Diaz. Diaz. I was gonna say Smith. Diaz. Gonna have to go with him, or I think what they will most likely do, which is gonna go with the youngster. With the veterans in a Feja or Samaras in the back and pair him alongside Lindelof, who I was I don't want to say critical, but I wasn't a huge fan of, or I wasn't that impressed with. Up until this weekend, and I mean the guy absolutely answered every single doubt in my mind and any other Benfiquista watching. If you're not impressed by what he did this weekend against the Lagartos, I don't think you'll be impressed by much that the kid will do after this, I guess.
Yeah, especially having to deal with Slimani. Yeah. No, he's definitely growing.
He shut him down. He shut him down, and not just the Slimani thing, man. I think the kid, he was key on every court. You know, other relatadores like to call it, on the interceptions. My man, he played a flawless game. He seemed to be at the right place at the right time all the time. He reads the game very well. Really committed no mistakes. I guess, you know, letting Ruiz get that wide open in front of the goal. I mean, you might want to call that a mistake, but hey, crap happens. Still, the dude was lights out. I thought he was our best player in the game over the weekend. I really have no criticism but praise for this kid. I think right now I'm ready to unleash him and let him go out there and play against the big boys. And this will be another huge test. I mean, Hulk's going to come at him. Zenit's going to try to send everybody up top because they need the goals more so than what Benfica does at this point. So it's going to be another tough test. And right now, I would like to think maybe a Feja or a Samaris, one of those two will be alongside him in the center of the defense come tomorrow.
Yeah, I have to agree. Yeah, so both Timo also agreed. I think George wouldn't mind seeing the young kid next to it, but that's just as the fact that we, regardless of what's at stake, if we make it through the next round, I think that if we experiment and it wouldn't be too far fetched. And Cristiano, my feeling is, I could care less if we get beaten by Zenit, if it means that we get to concentrate on the rest of the championship. If we go through Zenit, obviously there's 2 more games that we got to play.
Look, man, I would agree with you if we were playing a Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. The fact of the matter is that, bro, we got a lead in this. How could you tell me you don't care? I mean, you have to go out there and at least try to hold the lead and come away with this. If this was a game that we're trailing 2-0 and we're trying to overturn the result, yeah, okay, I'd be like, I could care less. But the fact is, we have a lead. This is Benfica, man. You want to call yourself un dos grandes da Europa, you have to win games like this, in particular against these shit clubs, like Zenit. These clubs that want to just go out and buy everybody and try to form a club. You need to beat these clubs. You need to show them that, man, we're the Velha Guarda. We've been here. We've done this. We're Benfica. And we're coming to your house to slap you around because we at least deserve to be with, the quarterfinals of the Champions League amongst the 8 best teams in Europe. That's the way you do it. If we're coming from behind, I agree with you, man. The most important thing, get the campeonato and keep it rolling. But right now, man, we got to get this, Alfredo. I will be disappointed if we don't come away with the advancement tomorrow.
Even if it means you're adding another 2 games to your schedule?
Absolutely. I don't care. I want to add another 5 games to my schedule. How's that? I think every single one of us will be happier. Let's be honest real quick. And George, I'm sorry because I have a question for you as well. But before I get to that question, I'm going to pose a question to the 3 of you, right? Which is, let's be honest. And I'm not trying to act like your cousin. All right, George, I won't try to go out there. But we've seen worse things happen. And again, I'm not trying to be ludicrous here. But, okay, if you did have the opportunity to go those extra 5 games, I mean, come on, bro. Campeonato or that. It's not even close. It's not even close. You're picking the 5 games.
Absolutely. Okay. If the choice is Champions League or the league, it's the Champions League. Okay. But I would agree with you, Cristiano, if we had our full roster healthy, no suspensions. But I think with the number of changes we're going to have to make in the back, I think to expect a good result might be too much. And for that reason, maybe it's just me trying to prepare myself for an eventual elimination tomorrow. That's how I want to look at it. So I'm not as disappointed as I might be in another case.
Bro, all we need is an ugly-ass draw. That's all we need. Yeah, a draw of any kind.
We can lose 2-1 and still advance, right?
Absolutely. Yep. That's another great point. Yeah, thank you, Timo. That's we barely agree,
but we still make it through.
A 2-1 loss. We're through, bro. We're in the Cueca. We're there, baby. 2-1. That's enough.
What we need to do is capitalize on our chances like we did at Sporting, which was create 1 and score 1. Not like we did against Porto, where we created 10 and scored 1.
That wasn't even we didn't even create a chance. That was like a rebound off a shot and yada yada yada. I guess that was an opportunity.
But it was a chance.
Yeah. By the way, prior to the goal, did you see Jonas break Coates' ankles? Because I enjoyed that. He broke his. I just wanted to point that out.
Cristiano, what do you think of tomorrow? You think another ultra defensive approach by Rui Vitória? It seems that he's got that shit down.
Yeah, bro. Unfortunately, I do see it, but man, I'm tired of seeing that type of football, and not to agree with JJ because, like many people around the world have covered it by now. The guy played some of that type of football in his 6 years at Benfica, so he should be the last one talking. But as a fan, I mean, I want to see my team at least try to come out and play football. At least, look, if you're not going to come, guns blazing and try to score, which you don't have to do tomorrow, at least try to possess the ball, touch it around, try to create something rather than just have all 11 guys behind the ball, because that's ugly. But if that's what it's going to take tomorrow, I will take it. As long as we advance. I don't care what we do tomorrow as long as we advance. I don't care who plays deep. Yo, put Pop Sicko in the back. I don't care. Well, he is in the back, but in the center. I don't care. Do what you have to do to get through tomorrow. Everything else after that, I'll worry about it when it comes. I mean, like negative or positive George wants to call himself today. Like he said, due to the fact that we're missing so many players and going to, I don't care about the future. The most important game is tomorrow's game. If this was a Taça da Cerveja game, I could care less. You know what? Yeah, play the putos. You're right. Give the kid Ruben Pinto Ruben Diaz some PT. Get his. But this is the champions. My bad. I should have took a deeper breath prior to that. But
hey,
this
Cristiano,
is the champions, bro.
Cristiano, I just think that you're tired of telling people that you're a Benfica fan and people going, who?
Nah, I'm scared.
This is when you could brag about your team. Your team is in the best 8 teams in Europe, and you could brag about your team to your friends.
Há putos na África, camisola do Benfica, meu. E não há água, mas há camisola do Benfica lá, man. Come on. Everybody knows the Benfica here. Come on.
Yeah. So I think that the defensive approach with the inclination to spring a counterattack, I think that's how we'll play tomorrow. Zenit's going to have to come out and play tomorrow, no doubt.
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to keep the lineup the same way and include PZ? Because PZ, to me, the last however many games just doesn't look like he's cutting it anymore. He looks, he's forcing way too much. I mean, I'd like to see Salvio, get in there, or even Carcella if he's not hurt, which I don't think he is.
Tomorrow, I think they're gonna go with whomever is going to offer them the most offensively. Carcella is not that guy.
No.
Salvio is not that guy, and even though he's going to look for an opportunity to get Salvio in there just for the counter due to his speed, which he might still do that, if he does decide to go defensive, it's going to be Peasy because that's the guy that offers the most. He understands the system the best, and he's going to give him the, I guess he's going to give him the most out of that position. That's what I think.
I don't think that Salvio's got the stamina to cover that much ground defensively.
No.
And by the way, because a lot of you guys laughed at me, I went berserk when Benfica exercised the $6 million option, which was bringing it up to 14 million euros, not even dollars, euros, which is like $16 million for Benfica's all-time highest signing in PZ, and he did well for the first 4 or 5 games. My man was tearing up the Rio Aves, the Pasta Ferreiras, the Moreirenses, the Marítimos. Where's he been lately, though?
Yeah. But Cristiano, I think we've already agreed that any deal done with Atletico Madrid is a foregone conclusion. We can't trust those values that are being publicized.
You're right. But right now, as it's written in stone, right now, he's still Benfica's all-time most expensive signing. I mean, think about that for a second. I don't care about what deals these guys make. This guy is Benfica's all-time most expensive signing. Benfica's.
I agree with you. He has been pretty bad as of late. I thought he was actually a nullity against Sporting.
As long as he shows up tomorrow, defends his ass off, and if he queira para frente, bola para fora, bora. As long as he does that tomorrow, bro, I'll be happy.
In his defense, I'm going to pretend that he dropped it back to Samaris to set up the goal on Saturday.
Well,
what did he?
Back pass.
Did he?
The drop back pass to Samaris, who then made a pass to Mitroglou to score the goal.
And by the way, you're right. Listen, right now we have to turn a negative into a positive, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. Now, I know you guys touched on this before, but I just want to tip my cap to Ederson, who prior to kickoff, I think maybe his mom might have been the only other person in the world who was confident, because I'm pretty sure everybody else was shaking in their boots with the possibility of this kid making his debut in a huge game like that, especially in a Clásico. I mean, I'm not talking about a debut because he played against the Taça da Cerveja, but in a game of that magnitude, of so much pressure, knowing that Benfica was going to defend at some time, which they did. The kid played really well, man. I mentioned on Twitter prior to kickoff that between the pipes, I have no concerns with him. My concerns with him are when he has the ball at his feet.
Yeah.
And Alfred, you and I had a conversation the other day about this, and you say, he never really came under any pressure with Wallace Fields, just put the pep à frente. And so, I mean, he looked good. So, hopefully he keeps it up. I just wanted to touch that because I was pretty negative and pretty nervous prior to kickoff, and I think along with Lindelof, the kid came in and he proved that he could play at least in the Portuguese league. I'm not sure if it stands Champions League level yet, but at least in the Portuguese league, he's proved that he could play at that level. And it looks like right now we have a pretty reasonable backup, for the meantime while JC is out recuperating. I just wanted to say that.
Well, that's what we do here at the Benfica podcast. We're the first ones to jump down a guy's ass, but we're also the first ones to give praise when praise is due. Like Cristiano says, he likes to eat crow.
Well, I do. I love crow. And I put jalapeno all over it. It's amazing. It's tremendous. You have to really like that type of taste. It's a little gamey, but I love it. Shit sounds like the Food Channel all of a sudden. What the hell was I gonna say? Listen, I mean, I think the females that listen to the pod have mentioned it, a couple of times, and even the males, the great males that listen to us. Thank you guys. You guys are the greatest. The guys have mentioned every time we jump down somebody's throat, they come out and they prove us wrong the very next day.
Yeah.
So who are we gonna jump on today? Let's think.
Everyone.
About that for a second.
Everyone.
BT.
Jonas.
Epa, what says you? Well, Epa, Jonas, right? Jonas was grabbed for like the whole game by William. And somehow they still found a way to praise William. Ay, William voltou.
I didn't think that Jonas was that bad, to be honest with you.
No, he wasn't.
I think that we didn't have. I didn't think we have enough of the ball in the second half to make him a factor, really.
No, he wasn't bad. I'm just making the point that he was held the whole game.
Anybody else notice how many times Mitroglou was blasted, knocked down, grabbed, kicked? I mean,
Mitroglou. I don't know if this was I don't know if this was a coaching decision or not, but Mitroglou came in on some tackles as well, rough. My man's like, yo, tu das uma amigo levers tu. I mean, I think they played a pretty physical game, both guys, not just just one side.
Yep.
I think so too. All right, turning our attention to Tondela, which comes up Monday. Tondela is dead last. Let's hope that this doesn't become a trap game for Benfica. Of course, the game is at Estádio de Luz. I don't think the fans will let the team fall asleep. Tondela has 3 wins, 4 ties, and 18 losses. In the first round at the Tondela Stadium, Benfica beat them 4-0. So, on paper, relatively easy, but here's the thing about these little teams now that are on the way of Benfica's championship run. A lot of teams don't want to be seen as a weak team that Benfica is just going to go and show up and play and beat them. These teams are going to make Benfica beat them and beat them right. Benfica is going to have to put out a lot to be able to beat these teams because these teams are going to be playing Benfica with a chip on their shoulder. What do you guys think, Timo?
Yeah, every team from now until the end, regardless if they're small or big, they want to play spoilers. These little teams, how many years has Rio Ave, given Benfica trouble? They were never a great team. I mean, I know right now they're doing, pretty decent this year, but how many times do these teams come to our stadium, to our house, and, kind of give us a tough time with scoring? I see from here on out, every game's got to be played like we've said last year, this year. We're saying now, 9 finals. You have to win every single one of them. Play it like it's your last game. We have to leave everything on the field because every single team's going to come at us hard, and they're going to want to be the spoiler. Not saying that they want Sporting to be campeão, because I don't think anybody does, but they're going to come at us because they don't want to just get run over, like you said.
Yeah, and then go ahead.
Did you guys see the scenes outside Estádio do Lixo, José Alvalade? Did you guys see the scenes this weekend?
Well,
yes.
Yeah.
Wait. I just need yes or no, gentlemen.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's how it is for every other team now throughout Portugal in these last final games, right? Just like for Sporting, they knew the whole country would be watching. It's their Super Bowl. They're all going to come out, you the Sporting, you Benfica, Lixo, essa merda toda. And it's going to happen at every other club now. Everybody knows that the country is watching. And it's going to be the same type of event at every stadium you go to. And Benfica is just going to have to go out there, play their game, and create as many chances as possibly could, because we know they could do that against these small teams. And I think, these teams can't put up a fight. Right now, Benfica, the morale, the confidence, everything's got to be at an all-time high. That's why even tomorrow, that game is very important, because we can't have this level. You can't have the players' mindset drop right now, because I'm pretty sure after what they pulled off on Saturday, everybody's mile high, at least their attitude. So they need to keep this going, and I don't think anything can stop them.
Yeah, Cristiano.
Sorry. So I was going to say that the Monday game for me is going to be the easiest one we have the rest of the way, because Tondela is the one team that really has nothing to play for. They're like 7 points behind second last, so they're going to get relegated.
8.
All the games down the stretch are more difficult than they would have been at the beginning of the season, because now the teams are either fighting for manutenção to stay up, they're fighting for Europe, they're fighting for Champions League, for whatever, except for this one game on Monday. So this game on Monday, they have zero excuse not to get a result. And the others, teams always step up against Benfica. Like Cristiano said, they always step up, especially now. But then when you add the fact that every little point will help in their race to survival, like Boavista is fighting for survival. That game is, with the turf, it's going to be an extra difficult game. But this game in particular on Monday, no excuse, because Tondela doesn't even have that extra incentive to get points for any reason other than to prevent Benfica from getting the win.
I don't think
they're going to show up, because they know their grandmothers, their aunts, their tios, everybody's going to be watching. It's a national televised game.
Yeah.
It's on TV, man. And everybody knows that when you play against Benfica, bro, it doesn't get any bigger and badder than that in Portugal. So these guys are going to step up. They're going to try to impress. They're going to try to make a name for themselves, because, okay, maybe they got nothing to fight for as far as team-wise, as far as manutenção. But you know what? They don't want to play in second division next year. They want another team that stays up to watch them play and say, we're going to swap these guys up, pick them up, and they'll be back in first division next year. So, these guys are going to try to make a name for themselves.
Yeah.
Hey, and the other thing, and the last thing, F Tondela, man. They fired my boy Vitor Paneira, número 7, because o gajo gostava mais de andar nos bailes do que treinar. That's, an inside source. That's inside source has told me that.
And confirm, not deny.
I know I could confirm this one. This one I'll confirm. But yeah, it's pretty sad that they let go of my boy, man. That's one of the best midfielders Benfica ever had, and he doesn't get the respect.
Yeah, but Cristiano, talking about those scenes at the Alvalade, they were reminiscent of the Euro 2004 final. But what Sporting didn't count on was that Benfica has 2 Greek players. So
It was reminiscent of 2004. The home team once again lost, and the game-winning goal scored by a Greek. So it was just like 2004.
On his one opportunity.
Yeah. Alfredo, I don't know if you came up with that one on your own, but that's pretty good.
No, I read that on Twitter, and then I already said that on a podcast I was on last night, so I'm repeating it here on my own podcast.
At that time, the first time I've heard you say it.
At that time, the Grego scored on a Sporting goalie too, which was Ricardo Bombalhaço.
The similarities are never ending.
We talked about 2 things today that still get me upset: the Euro 2004 final and the Kelvin goal. Let's move on to better things, please.
Wait, since we're talking about things reminiscent, right, and memes and everything, I got a good one. Somebody put this up and I stole it. So if it was you, obrigado, pá. Which was, se o Jonas vai marcar gol uma equipa grande, tem que marcar autogol, pá. Guess you guys didn't get that one. I'm afraid you didn't get that one, huh?
Se o Jonas
vai marcar gol. Se o Jonas vai marcar gol a uma equipa grande, tem que marcar autogol.
The only big ones.
True that. I get it.
It's funny, but it's not.
I was a little.
It is funny. Come on.
I missed I thought you said George, not Jonas.
I scored many goals in my days on the soccer field.
Jorge é uma máquina, anda atrás de moose ali no Canadá. That's about it.
All right, I think that's all we got. So Benfica's game against Zenit tomorrow. Don't snooze, don't sleep actually, because the game I think is at 12 o'clock United States time.
Yes.
So the Russian games always play a little earlier than the regular games that you would see here at 2:45. I think 7:45 European time. So don't sleep on that. Let's
There
get on
goes
that
my
game.
there goes my beauty sleep. God
Yeah.
damn it.
Yeah. So I think that's about it. Anything else that you guys wanted to add before we go?
I just wanted to say one thing that kind of followed up on, totally off topic, but kind of followed up on something that Cristiano mentioned a minute ago. About Vitor Pineda being a coach and then getting fired. At Boa Vista right now, the coach is Sanchez, Ervin Sanchez,
Former
Benfica player. Petit is a coach
Bolivia.
somewhere. He's a former Benfica player. I remember about 10, 15 years ago, the coaching ranks in Portugal were full of ex-Porto players. And that was something that always bothered us. It's like, these guys, they play the mother team and they're not going to... That's just another change, another evolution that I'm seeing, that now you're seeing the former Benfica players getting into coaching, right?
Good
and
shout.
not to say that they don't try as hard, but I think I wouldn't surprise me if they give it a little extra against the other so-called big clubs in Portugal. I think it's a little advantage we've been getting the last few years we didn't have before.
Yeah.
Isso é muita fruta, pá. Isso é muita conversa para fruta. At the end of the day, Benfica needs to go there, slap these kids around. You know what? I forget which one of you gentlemen brought this up just a couple minutes ago, but it was a very, very good point, which for some reason I had forgotten because I'm not thinking ahead. Right now, my mind's on Zenit, but which was the away game at Boa Vista and playing in that stupid ass turf.
No, I don't think it's turf anymore. I think it's grass now.
Okay, somebody mentioned turf. And if it's
I did. If they replace it with grass.
Yeah, I think they swapped it out
new.
at the beginning of this year, or
Yeah, it was
towards the end of last year.
mandated by the league that they swap it out, and actually the league helped with some of the costs.
I
apologize for the misinformation.
Well, the league should help for all the renovations since they sent them down to second division unjust 10 years ago, and then it took them like 6 to come back up, and now they're only giving them $2 million. So, yeah, the league should pay for everything that stadium needs because they did them dirty. It was either send them or Football Club Corrupto down and decided to send them. I guess not a bad choice in the end.
Yeah. I think that all the questions that we have here on Twitter, I think we pretty much addressed them in one way or another. I just want to address one real quick here with from your cousin Lino Fernandes. He's saying with Cristiano getting next to 0 playing time, was Benfica right about him? Do we want him back? Cristiano, I'll let you take that because that's your boy.
Listen, I was a big fan of his, but based on what I've seen, I can only be honest. Based on what I've seen, and seeing what else Benfica has to offer, and these young kids that Benfica's pulling out of the B team. I mean, right now, he hasn't done anything that leads me to believe that he earns a spot or he deserves a spot on this team. So I think Benfica did the right thing, which was try to send him out and get some playing time. But when he does come back in the summer, if they could find the club in Portugal to let him rotate and get some minutes, I think that'll be the best thing for his development. Because right now, I don't think he has a spot on Benfica. It's unfortunate because there was a lot of potential and a lot of high praise with this kid when he first came to Benfica. Yeah. But he hasn't shown much, and we've seen that football, Portuguese is a different beast. It's a very tough, organized, defensive, physical game in the midfield, and it seems like he's just a step too slow at times.
Yeah,
I'm still waiting for the day that we loan out a player who ends up exploding and playing great. Whether it's Juricic or Nelson Oliveira or Ola John or Cristante, these guys, we loan them out hoping, expecting that they'll take over and dominate and come back. It never happens. It makes me wonder if they're selling all the sizzle for these guys and they're not as good as clearly they're not as good as they told us they were.
All those guys that go out and shine, they all have options to buy. And they're all purchased, so they're no longer ours.
Yeah, well, that's one. But the other one...
Silva.
Yes. But one, Oliveira's doing well over there in the Premiership. He's doing well. So I'm not going to tell you this guy deserves a spot on the team next year, but I'm not going to say he's been a bust. Okay, he's doing well. And we've had players that have gone out in years past and then came back. I mean, the only guy I could really think
even
of.
Rodrigo was loaned out And then he came back and played really well, but he didn't really dominate when he was at Bolton.
Yeah, but he had an option. They had an option also to purchase, and they chose not to opt it. I mean, Coentrão, but Coentrão was a bust. They sent him everywhere, and then he went to Nacional, and he finally did all right. I mean, you're right. Most of these guys, they're not sticking around because, one, they don't have the quality, and then two, they go elsewhere and they become flops because they don't have that quality. That's the only reason why Benfica's sending them out. I guess that's the only way you can look at it. Unfortunately, you're right. You have a lot of these other Portistas and Sportingistas going out and getting playing time and developing and scoring goals. And we haven't seen that. But, again, we haven't seen our formation, our formação, our youngsters, our youth department be anywhere near the level that they are at now. So maybe we'll start to see that a little bit more with kids going out and playing. The kid, what's his name? João Teixeira, right? Big thing about him. But he got hurt once he got to Guimarães, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, Andrade's playing. Nelson Andrade, whatever. But Nelson Andrade?
Vitor.
Yeah, whatever. I'm thinking about our Nelson. Vitor Andrade, he's doing his thing. He's getting playing time. I mean, he's not lighting it up, but he's getting playing time. To me, it's about getting playing time. That's what it's about. Whether you're lighting it up or not, that's irrelevant. It's about getting playing time because you're only going to develop. I believe Pelé is doing his thing at Pasto Ferreira. I'm pretty sure he's doing all right over there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not a star, but
it's good. It's good for them, like
Cristiano
you said.
Cristiano mentioned the youth squad a while ago. I guess we lost in the youth.
They lost today.
UEFA Champions Youth League 2-0 to Real.
Yeah, we gave up a goal.
In case you didn't know.
Yeah, gave up a goal. Benfica gave up a goal in the middle of the second half. And then after that, man, era cartões por todo lado. We got another red card, and then Madrid took a 2-0 lead. And then I think the only thing coming out of the website by the writers there, like the play-by-play, was amarelo para este, amarelo para aquele, amarelo. You know how Portuguese people are. Once they start losing, that's sarrafada por todo lado. I'm going down, but you're going down too. Come on.
Yeah.
Toma.
One last one to close out the pod, and this comes from Diogo Reis. With the understanding that we will win, we have nothing. We have won nothing yet. Should we win this campeonato, which of the three would be your favorite? Timo, I'll start with you. So if we win this championship, we become three campeões. Which of the three was more impressive for you, or more special to you?
Wow, that's tough. That is really hard. You know, I'm gonna have to say this one only because we had all the odds stacked up against us. But then again, you also had the one where we sold everybody, bought everybody, and we still won. But I would probably say this one because I had really never
what
seen...
this one, man? What this one? Ainda não ganhamos nada, pá. Vocês estão
Hypothetically.
Epá, não mandem foguetes, pá. Por favor. Stop with that. Yo, Timo, I love you.
It was an if.
I don't mean no that. There's no ifs. Stop jinxing.
No, there's no if.
We'll talk in 2 months, dude. Ih, pá, vocês andam com carroça antes do cavalo, pá. Parem com isso, pá.
All right, we're gonna leave it at that.
No, we can keep talking. I don't want to go. I want to keep talking. But, yo, isso mandar foguetes antes da
You should have showed up on time.
No, I understand. I get your point, Cristiano.
Come on, I don't want to jinx this. Imagine, tem ranhoso por aí, sportingista ranhoso que gosta de escutar o que a gente fala aqui. Claro, because who doesn't like us? But, there's got to be some ranhosos out there. And they listen to this, and then we slip up, and they're going to, olha aqui, what if? No, none of that. Colin, none of that. Yo, Timo, I love you, bro. Sorry. Nah, we're not. No ifs.
Sorry, bud.
It's win, okay? Win. That's it.
We're gonna win.
I think
9
the
finals
one
left, one at a time.
That's fine.
I think the one that the first one where we won basically every single title except with the except the Europa League. I think that's a pretty special one. But whatever, I'll leave it at
under
that.
JJ? Yeah, under JJ?
Yeah.
You're talking about under JJ?
Yeah.
What about the Trapattoni one? To me, the Trapattoni one.
No. I'm talking about the 2 in a row. The bicampeonatos, and
which one's the
No, stop with the F. Stop.
If we're talking about the last
first
two,
or the second?
Yeah. The
if
first
we're
or
talking
the
about the
second.
last,
We're talking about the last two.
yeah, it's got to be the first one. Then you keep going. It's got to be the first one because it was Eusebio's death, Kuluna's death. We have a great team. We got rolling at just after Christmas, and then we had a great team, great squad with the symbolism of everything. That one was definitely out of the two the more important, more special one, if you will.
Sentimentally, you're 100% correct, and due to the fact that that one word that you said earlier, not to repeat, due to the fact that the 92nd minute, the year previous, I think that was special to come back and do it again after so much nonsense going around and so much talk and so much
heartbreak,
bad vibes. Okay, that was special, very special. But I tell you, I think. And again, maybe it's just because I'm a huge fan of the guy. I mean, I think the guy's classless, but I think football-wise, I think he knows what he's doing. I think the job that he did last year, when you look at the team, how we've missed so many players, and I think that was a tremendous managerial job on his part. And so I think last year was very impressive as well.
But you mentioned, Cristiano, you mentioned the Trapattoni title a little while ago.
Yes.
You can kind of give the same criticism to Benfica's title last year to the one that Trapattoni got, which was those 2 years the opposition was really bad. Surprisingly bad.
That's fine, but you know
and
what?
I think that's why you take a little bit away from last year's victory, because there was no real competition. Not that it wasn't competition, but it wasn't strong.
But his team was also very weak, dude. I mean, think about
absolutely.
That. So you're right. You have to think about opposition, but look at what he had. Look at what he had to work with.
Absolutely.
I mean, think about Doomsday. That the scenarios we had starting the podcast season last year. We were all panicking like, yo, Portugal's out. They get the Teus, the Casemiros. They get all these. You're like, Empire, yo, we lost this. We lose that. We're all scratching our head. And so I'm just talking about as far as coaching. That might have been his best coaching job in 6 years at Benfica.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, I'm glad we agree. Now, the Trapattoni, though. Come on, dude. 11 years of miséria, meu. Nem bro, a gente comíamos migalhas, meu. Nem bro andávamos a comer. Que miséria, bro. And it was ugly. And Mantorras com uma perna e outra amarrada às costas coming out and scoring Mikol. I mean, come on, bro. That team, I think due to the fact that o guys, com a fome que a gente andava, I mean, come on, dude. That title is the reason why Benfica today is going for a tricampeonato, because that title, I think, set it all up, because that brought back stability to the club. That proved to everyone around that, you know what, man, we've struggled, we've been under the bridge for all these years, and we haven't been able to come up for air, but right now we're back, and you guys should be very aware, because we seem to know people that are very competent and people that are going to do the right thing and put this team down the right path, and I to me, I'm very grateful to that campeonato, because, bro, as a teenager, man, I had to eat. I mean, I wasn't even eating crow, guys. Crow is a delicacy back in the days. I mean, it was ugly, man. You know what I mean?
The title clinching game against Boavista that year was the first time I actually saw grown men with tears in their eyes because of soccer.
Yeah.
Because it had been that long, and it still sends a shiver. It still sends a shiver up my spine.
Yeah. Yeah, it was quite a special moment, especially Cristiano said after 11 years of nothing, then all of a sudden you got this team, which basically was probably the weaker team of the three on paper, I would say, and Trapattoni managed to put it together.
Bro, we finished at what, fifth place one of those seasons. Fifth place,
outside of Europe.
Yeah.
But it was Mantorras. It was the magic of Mantorras that year.
Now you sound like Neil.
Yeah, it was incredible.
All right, guys. We're going to wrap it up. Thanks for checking us out. planetbenfica.co.uk. Timo, your Twitter, bro?
@_Timo1.
@10CO10 is where you can find Cristiano. Negative George is not that participative in on Twitter, but he chimes in every once in a while.
It's quality, not quantity.
There you go.
That's what you got to remember with me.
He's so active on Twitter that his avatar is still an egg.
To be honest with you, I don't know how to change it. It's too high tech for me.
I think that's about it, guys.
But sorry, you've challenged me. I'll put something out. So if you want to see what my avatar is gonna be, follow me. How's that?
Opa, you got
Oh, look at that.
you got like Harvard and Yale diplomas hanging behind you, and you can't change a freaking avatar. Okay, spy. Yo, I go get my money back from those universities.
They're from Trump University.
Hey, they're worth something, bro. You better, those pretty soon with all the Americans that are gonna be living in Canada, they're gonna be worth a lot. Timo's gonna be a Canadian soon enough.
All right, guys.
That would not happen.
Let's wrap it up. Thank you very much for you guys being here, Cristiano. Better late than never, my friend.
Epa, sabes como é que é? You need a game changer. I come in, control the game, touch it around, score a golazo, and send everybody home happy. You know what I mean?
You go. That's exactly what you did, buddy. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody, and don't forget to check us out next week. We will break down the Zenit game, also the Tondela game, and we'll preview the game that comes up next. All right, thank you very much. Alfredo, Timo, Cristiano, and George were with you tonight, and check us out on Twitter, iTunes, Stitcher Radio. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes. Post a rating there. Whatever. Bye-bye. See you later, guys. See ya.